On today's show, we're going to look at how the Cleveland Browns quarterback plan for 2026 is obvious to me. I'm going to tell you the latest that I'm hearing on the situation, who the Browns could be starting in 2026, what direction they're trending in most likely. Before I dive into the show, I want you guys to get in the comments section and sound off. Pick the Browns starting quarterback for next year. If you think it should be Shador Sanders, type SS, his initials. If you think it's Deshaun Watson, type DW. If for some reason you think it's Dillon Gabriel, you could type DG. Or if it's a different quarterback, maybe not on the roster right now, you could type O for other if you have another example. But I think the solution for Cleveland next year comes from a guy that is on the roster right now. So let's go through one by one quickly. Who could Cleveland be leaning towards between Shedeur, Deshaun Watson, and Dillon Gabriel? I'm going to tell you what direction they're going with it. First of all, Dillon Gabriel is out of the mix. Let me just say that. Eye test, didn't pass it, looked bad. He's supposed to be a quarterback that can be pinpoint accurate because he doesn't leave the pocket, but that's just not even close to the case at all. Deshaun Watson tore his Achilles twice and is now 30 years old. Do you really think he's going to magically turn back to Pro Bowl form, which was 6 years ago, after tearing his Achilles twice and having multiple injuries? It's unlikely. And so, of course, the Browns are going to start Shador Sanders. He will be the day one starter in 2026. I believe it to be the case. Here's why. First of all, there's no point in having Shador Sanders sit on the bench. What is the point in that? The fans want him out there. He brings people to the games. We at least saw good from Shador last year, more positives from him than any other Browns quarterback on the roster last season, I would say. So see what you have in him behind a better offensive line next year before drafting yet another rookie quarterback, okay? And ESPN analyst Mike Clay put out a chart that is color-coded with offensive lines in the league. If you see red, that is color code for they should not be starting linemen in the league. Now, don't worry, I'm going to zoom in here because the Browns are on the bottom left of that photo, and their offensive linemen complete red. He's saying no one on the Browns should be a starting offensive lineman in the NFL. And it's true. Now, this doesn't include guys that are going to be free agents, but we already know Wyatt Teller's going to leave. Jack Conklin probably not going to be back with the Browns either. Posick in a difficult situation as well. I don't even know that Whippler can start day one. But it is the worst offensive line situation in the league, especially when Shador got out there late. They were down to third stringers of guys that shouldn't even be starters in the first place. How do you explain that? And I'm not even going to get too analytical here. Okay? I don't care what quarterback you are. If you know anything about ball at all, ask any quarterback. Having a good offensive line versus having a bad offensive line. That matters. It's a lot easier when you have time. This isn't even too deep ball knowledge. It's just quite simple. Having a good offensive line makes a massive difference in the NFL. Look at Sam Darnold's winning a Super Bowl right now because of how good everything around him is right now. So it matters. Same thing with a wide receiver. It's the most basic thing in football. Your wide receiver number one should catch the ball. Jerry Jeudy did not do that on a multitude of occasions last year. Almost led the league in drops. And some of the throws from Shador Sanders were unbelievable. Now, there were some bad ones too. We'll talk about that a little bit. But some of them, I can't even put into words. I think of the one down to sideline to Harold Fannin Jr. It's an absolute dot. I think of the 60-yard touchdown to Jerry Jeudy. I think of 52-yard completion to Isaiah Bond in his first start, being thrown out there, never having reps with the ones. Some of the throws, it was like, okay, I'm back in. I'm intrigued again. Okay? And again, some were questionable. It wasn't perfect. There were a roller coaster of starts. There were bad games too, like the Niners game and the Bears game. It's definitely a project, but not having Stefanski will benefit Shedeur, I think. I think Todd Monken is the perfect coach to take on the project, and it can make Shedeur, it's going to look night and day next year. I think this is very promising where we're headed here in 2026. And the haters, they try to get to me. They try to make me doubt. But I can't unsee that Titans game. I watched Shedeur throw for 3 touchdowns, throw 364 yards, scored 4 total touchdowns because he ran one in, because he didn't give up when the game was down, when they were down 2 scores in the fourth quarter, took the team on his back. And everybody else on the roster actually failed him that game. You see the stats on your screen right now, and this was the infamous, notorious Kevin Stefanski pulls Shedeur off the field to go for 2, and look at how much we lost by 2 points on the dot. And so I did see a lot of good. And for the people that don't want it to be Shador Sanders, I know there are people out there that have given up on him, that don't believe in him. I'm not one of those people. But what I would ask those people is, who's the other option? Seriously, name the quarterback that should start that isn't Shador Sanders then. There's nobody else out there right now. The free agents this season are washed, and they cost money. Here's your headline of the top free agent quarterbacks this season. Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, it's not good. Daniel Jones, I mean, first of all, he's probably going to go back to Indianapolis. But the options are just not worth an investment for Cleveland when you have Shedeur sitting right there. And everybody else is linking Malik Willis to the Cleveland Browns, who also is essentially an unproven quarterback. Why use your limited cap space to pay Malik Willis $25 million? You didn't go out there and pay him that much? No. Just go out there, get offensive linemen, get wide receivers for Shedeur. Willis is going to look the same as everybody else has if you just added him to the Browns right now. The system is awful. Your cap space, however much of it you could clear up, should go to building the big fellas up front and getting a stud wide receiver 1. Draft is also going to be pivotal for that. We've got 10 draft picks. And what I also learned last year is you can win games with Shedeur Sanders. Had the best record of all the Browns quarterbacks that started last year. Went 3-4, okay? 3 wins behind that team isn't bad at all. And you should have beat the Titans. We all know what people are calling a coaching malpractice is why you lost that game. I bet if Shedeur started earlier, you would have beat the Jets, which Dillon Gabriel failed to do. Close game with the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen, too, by the way. Lost 23-20. Very easily could have been another win on the Cleveland Browns schedule for Shedeur Sanders and the team. And I know the defense was obviously spectacular in most of those. Not in the Titans game, though. But Shedeur can do enough to win on offense. We at least saw that with a bad system. So if you build it up this offseason, well, now I'm a lot more optimistic about what the Cleveland Browns could do. And so my take on the matter is you build around Shedeur. You get some offensive linemen and receivers. Keep the defense how it is. I like the Rutenberg hire. Think he brings a nice, fresh perspective to call plays for the Browns. But you're also going to keep the system we have heard. Best case scenario, hallelujah, a 5th-round pick turns out to be the franchise quarterback, or at least the guy that makes you competitive. Otherwise, there's nothing to lose. He's on a rookie deal, and you draft a quarterback in 2027 when there's actually options. There's no quarterbacks in this draft outside of Mendoza, and the Raiders are not going to budge on that number 1 pick. So that's my feeling. But you tell me yours. Should the Browns start Shedeur Sanders? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Give me a letter in the comments section. I want to know what you think Cleveland should do. We've got more Brown stats to get to here, and also a major piece of news for Cleveland coming up on the back half of today's show. But first, let's get a word from our sponsor. Let's talk about the new clothes I've been wearing from our friends over at Rag & Bone. If you go to rag-bone.com and use code CHAT, you get 20% off your order. These clothes are comfortable and classy and feel super high quality too. I've already gotten a couple compliments on the denim jacket I'm rocking. People think I have style now. The clothes are built to last. I got myself the infused denim brown and black shirt, paired it with the R baggy fit infused jeans that honestly are so comfortable. I forgot I was wearing jeans. And now I've got a nice stylish outfit I can wear anywhere and impress. Infuse has that made-to-last quality you notice the first time you put them on. They feel premium, look sharp, and you could tell they're meant to be a long-term wardrobe staple. It's time to upgrade your denim with Rag & Bone. For a limited time, our listeners get 20% off their entire order with code CHAT at rag-bone.com. That's 20% off at rag-bone.com with promo code CHAT. When they ask where you heard about them, please support our show and let them know we sent you. All right, the first thing I want to say before I show you these stats that are going to shock you, I can guarantee you it's going to look better next year with a different offensive line. If it's actually good, I promise you the Browns will contend and win more games if they go out and do this in the offseason. So, if that fails, and you at least make a system where a young quarterback can thrive and succeed, the quarterback class in 2027 is stacked. Notably better than the 2026 class. I mean, Dante Moore would have been the 2nd overall pick if he declared this year. He didn't. He's out there in 2027. C.J. Carr, not even on this list, might be a top 5 pick next year. Arch Manning Would have been a first-rounder if he declared this year. He's going to be, if he could build off the end of last season, he'll be up there as well. I mean, just look at some of those options. I don't think Dillon Raiola does declare because of the whole Moore coming back to Oregon, but he's going to be a good option in years future as well. I mean, there's just plenty of guys, Lenore Sellers saying, for the Ohio State fans out there, like, you can get your guy next year if you don't like what Shedeur has to do in 2026, but at least figure that out and see that in a better system before you punt on another quarterback. Also, got some Browns news and stats here coming up that's going to shock. I mean, wait till you see how bad the Browns were in some of these areas. I'm not just spitballing. I'm not just telling you what I saw in the eye test. We've got numbers to back this up, folks. You know how much I get on Cam Robinson for how bad he was? Well, check this out. Cam Robinson allowed a 9.1% pressure rate. All right, that's ranked 32nd out of 34 qualifying left tackles. The dude didn't know where to look. Jerry Jeudy has a 21% drop rate on targets 10-plus yards downfield. Guess where that ranks? Dead last, 41st of the 41 wide receivers ranked in that category. He also was top 3 in the league in total drops. Running backs, 0.4 yards before contact per carry, which is dead last in the league. What does that mean? Running backs aren't even getting half a yard before they're hit behind the Browns' offensive line. How many times was I calling the game here and I go, Quinshon Judkins met in the backfield right away? It's the story of the season of the Browns' offensive line. I don't know if people realize how bad it was. I don't think I've seen a worse offensive line in Cleveland ever watching this unit. And now 4 of them are free agents. You're going to revamp the entire offensive line next year, which should be a good thing, contingent upon you signing and drafting good players, obviously. We can't run this thing back next year. But that's how bad it is. You're committed to none of them. I don't even know that DeJuan Jones is a starter again when he comes back from injury. I think that's the plan, but I didn't love his play before the injury either. It's the same unit. Speaking of Browns injuries, Mary Kay put this out yesterday. It is doubtful that Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah will ever return to the field. And I'm going to be honest, this was a crushing report for me to read. Seemed like it was over. Everybody was raving about it on Twitter. JOK took this to Instagram, though, and put out a post on his story. It was like, someone catch me up on the news. Like, what do you mean I'm doubtful? Did somebody tell me I'm doubtful? Did the doctor say I can't play? Is Mary Kay dead wrong again on another report? I mean, Christ's sakes, Mary Kay, I like you, but this is happening every day now. I mean, we're missing stuff here. And basically, she might not end up being wrong, but nothing's official right now. And JOK is like, where'd you get that? So we would love to have him back on the football field. Of course, we've been dreaming about pairing him with Schlesinger next year. Oh, he was such a stud, the young linebacker for Cleveland. Now, the injury was brutal, though. I mean, is a doctor really going to clear him to play football again? But the point is, it's not actually official, but it is doubtful according to Mary Kay. Now, the solution, if you don't get to retain JOK, perhaps Cleveland can re-sign Devin Bush, who had a standout season last year. Jim Short's part of that, but also linebacker coach Jason Tarver, who's still on the Browns staff here. I mean, the guy was doing it all, revived his career. 125 tackles, man. He was great tackler, good technique, 2 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, had a couple touchdowns as well, folks. Pick 6s for Devin Bush. Liked what I saw a lot from him last year. He's a free agent coming up. If Cleveland clears up that cap, perhaps they do have to bring back Devin Bush. But you let me know. Do you want the Browns to re-sign Devin Bush? Type R for re-sign. Type D for don't. Might be a little expensive, though, for a linebacker. That's the one caveat I will say to bringing back Devin Bush. I wouldn't use the franchise tag on him because that's really expensive. It's about $27 million last we checked for linebackers, which no, we're not doing that for a year. But if you can't get JOK, he's a very valuable piece to that defense. So you let me know. What do you think the Browns should do? Also, if you got something to say to me, come on over to my social medias. We talk a lot about Shedeur on my Twitter at JoeyO70. Also, fun highlights on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Go to Brownsport IG, Joey O Brown. You can find us there. Plenty of fun Browns content all day, every day, especially this week with the Combine. So do not miss out. Get on over to my Twitter. And I appreciate you all tuning in to the Browns Report. We'll see you next time.